Hey, it's Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. This show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're interested in starting or enhancing your real estate career, give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. You can also check us out online at tampaschoolofrealestate.com. That's tampaschoolofrealestate.com. I'm John Christman. I'm your host of State of Real Estate. And the reason why we started doing this show was to offer our students a way to mastermind and develop some of the skills that are necessary, not just the real estate license, law, and industry information that you need to know, but how to make not only your business successful, but yourself successful. Because a lot of the stuff that we talk about on the State of Real Estate show, it doesn't just apply specifically in real estate. It'll actually apply across multiple business fields, and that holds true with the episode we have today. We're going to be talking about planning your day. Now, if anyone knows me personally that's on here watching this, you know that I'm not somebody who likes to plan. But it is something I do because I have to. I know it's a necessity. If I could go through life just being spontaneous and just doing whatever kind of presents life to me, then I would do it. I'd be happy with that. And I feel like most people are actually like that as well. There are some people that planning makes them happy. I'm not one of those people. And so it's extra hard for me to kind of understand this planning concept and implement this. But I do it because it really will help skyrocket your productivity. It'll help you stay focused. It'll help you stay motivated. So it's really essential that you're planning out each and every one of your days. You could visualize this now. Say you're going down a river. You've probably met people before that say, that I just like to go with the flow. I'm guilty of saying that, going with the flow before. And you don't want to just go with the flow, because let's say you're going with the flow. You're just flowing down the river. You're in your boat. You've got oars in the boat. But you're just choosing to sit in the boat and just let it drift downriver. And you're like, this is nice. And you notice that the speed starts to pick up in the river. And you're like, okay, now we're cooking. Now we're moving along. And it keeps picking up till soon you see on the horizon there's a waterfall. And you're about to go tumbling over. And you have your oars in there. Now maybe you're starting to finally start rowing. But that's not going to really stop you. You continue to move towards the waterfall. So imagine this as you go through life. If you're just going with the flow of life, then you might have a waterfall on the horizon, and by the time you start taking action to not go with the flow, that might be too late, and you might be already ready for disaster. So we're trying to avoid all that disaster today. And you might not run into disaster without planning, but I can guarantee you it's going to make you more productive, more profitable, and more successful if you do have a little bit of planning that you do every single day. So it's of utmost importance to do this every single day. And we'll touch on a couple reasons why when we walk through a typical day. We'll be using some examples of having a career in real estate and how you might be led astray and how to not do that and why it's going to be bad for you. So before we actually get into planning the day, we have to have a plan for our business or whatever endeavor it is that we're doing. So I'm a big proponent of having some sort of business plan, some sort of way to know that these are your goals and there's certain things you have to do, certain metrics that you have to achieve in order to reach those goals. So it's very important that you're constantly working towards achieving those goals. And you're doing that every single day. I tell students in my classes all the time, especially when they're stressing about studying for the class exam or the state exam. Look, you don't need to stress about it. Just put in the work every single day. And it doesn't even have to be a lot of work. I mean, if you're studying for that exam, you can probably spend 15, 20 minutes a day studying with it. And if that's across one of the longer classes, one of the night classes or something like that, it's really going to help build up that momentum, and you're going to build a good habit. So the same thing applies when we're speaking about building your business. So now you have your real estate license and you're trying to look for ways to get your first client, or maybe get your second client, or make your first $100,000, or maybe you're trying to make $1 million. More power to you. You could definitely do it, but you have to put in the work and able to do that. And now, the reason why it's important to overall understand your plan, to understand what your end point is or what goal it is that you're trying to achieve. Maybe it's just getting your first client right now, or maybe you're trying to get to that $100,000 mark, but you need to know what that end is. So we'll use another kind of navigational analogy here to describe this. Let's say that you're trying to get to a grocery store, and you're in a city or in a town that you haven't lived in. You just moved to this city or town. You're trying to find the grocery store. In this day and age, it's pretty self-explanatory that you'll open up your phone, open Google Maps, type in grocery store, and then just hit navigate, and it'll take you straight there. And when you do that, you get step by step saying, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you'll arrive at Publix or at Whole Foods or wherever it is that you shop for groceries. So when you have that step by step, you're not going to be led astray. Now, how many times, I'm guilty of this myself, how many times have you said, oh, this GPS doesn't know what they're talking about, oh, that's going to take me through here, I don't want to drive through here, and you go off on your own roundabout way trying to find this grocery store. Now, especially if you're new to this area, which you may be new, and if we're going back to the previous analogy where you're new to real estate, and you're trying to navigate your way to that $100,000 goal, if you're being led astray and kind of meandering through, because this way, look, it's the scenic route, but it takes a lot longer to go through the scenic route, you may still get there, but it's going to take you a lot longer, as opposed to what the GPS said, take this step, this step, this step, this step, this step, and you'll be there. And that's the same thing you want to implement. So you need to know what it is your ultimate goal that you're trying to achieve. So you find your ultimate goal you're trying to achieve, and now you're going to reverse engineer it. Okay, I want to get $100,000. That means I need this many closings. That means in order to get this many closings, I need to get this many contracts. In order to get this many contracts, I need this many appointments. In order to get this many appointments, I need this many leads. In order to get that many leads, I need these many contacts. And you have to reverse engineer it all the way down to, what can I do today? Starting off completely fresh, I'm sitting here trying to achieve this goal. What can I do today to start working towards this goal? What are the says and do's I could do of today? But in order to figure out what you're doing today and making sure that's going to be pushing you towards that ultimate end goal, you have to know what that end goal is. Sure, you could fill up a list of things that you could do today that could ultimately be something, make you look busy. You notice the word busy, it's kind of right there with business. They couldn't be further apart, however, though, unless you're not running a good business. You don't want to just be busy. You want to make sure the work that you're doing is contributing to the ultimate achievement of your major goals. If you could set up your day as milestones or tasks or things that you could cross off that's, okay, I do this, that moves me one step closer. It may not be huge leaps and bounds towards your goal, but if it's still pushing you in that direction, then that's going to be good. So we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to talk about some specific things you could do in the real estate world every single day to help build your business and help get you towards this. We'll talk about some things that are good uses of your time and maybe some things that maybe aren't the best uses of your time. So stick with us. You're watching State of Real Estate.
Are you considering getting your real estate license via one of our classroom courses? At the Tampa School of Real Estate, our courses have been designed to prepare you for the Florida Real Estate Commission licensing exam, as well as teach you about the fundamental aspects of the real estate business. In this class, you'll learn about appraising property values, real estate contracts, the mortgage industry, and much more. We offer multiple class formats and several locations to make getting your real estate license easy. You can complete the course in as little as 2 weeks in one of our day classes. Or if you have a busier schedule, you might prefer our evening classes. All of our classes include the course textbook as well as other supplemental materials. At the Tampa School of Real Estate, all of our instructors undergo a rigorous training program and have real-world real estate experience in order to best prepare you for the class and state exam. We are so confident we have the most comprehensive licensing courses in Florida. We back all of our students with our exclusive 1-year retake guarantee. Our class sizes are limited and tend to fill up quickly, So reserve your seat today with a $49 deposit that will apply towards your course tuition. Registration is easy and just takes a few minutes on our website, tampaschoolofrealestate.com. You can also stop by our administration building or give us a call at 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have about obtaining your Florida real estate license and starting your exciting new career in real estate.
Hey, if you liked the show today, be sure to hit like and subscribe and post your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, welcome back to State of Real Estate. I'm John Carissimo, and this show is brought to you by Tampa School of Real Estate. If you're thinking about starting or enhancing your real estate career, give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106. You can also visit us online at tampaschoolofrealestate.com. So today's episode is specifically focused on planning your day in order to get the most out of it. Not the most out of it, not your most enjoyment. Because yeah, it's one thing to enjoy your day, but would you rather have an enjoyable life or just one enjoyable day? Or maybe a couple enjoyable days. But those enjoyable days are eventually going to run out on your pursuit to, if you're not pursuing an enjoyable life. If you're not pursuing an enjoyable life, your enjoyable days will be few and far between. So there's a quote, I believe it's Zig Ziglar, if life is tough, but if you're hard on yourself, the world will be that much easier on you. And now this isn't anything about just being harsh on yourself or critical of yourself. You want to basically do the things that you maybe don't want to do. The things that seem tough that ultimately are going to push you forward, whether that's something that you're just not familiar with. If you're not familiar with something that you're doing, then it's going to be very difficult until you get the hang of it, but ultimately that's going to push you forward even farther. If you're trying to lose weight, yeah, it sucks having to go to the gym. It sucks having to eat vegetables and whatnot. But you know what? It feels so much better when your clothes are able to fit, or when you're able to go upstairs without passing out, and so on and so forth. So these little things eventually are going to add up. And the same thing applies when we're talking about real estate. So before the break, we were talking about figuring out your ultimate major purpose, your ultimate major goals. And then we're able to create actionable tasks that kind of fit in with that. So in order to basically fill this all out, to have actionable tasks that you're doing every day, you need to know what it is that you're striving for. When you understand what it is you're striving for, you can now reverse engineer what you're doing every single day to work towards that goal. So let's go to real world here into a little bit of an example. Let's say that you are trying to achieve, let's say, a $100,000 income, and you're brand new to real estate. What is it that you're doing every single day that's going to help propel you towards that $100,000? I'll tell you, I see a lot of mistakes every day with new agents with how they're spending their time. Your time is the most valuable asset. It's your most valuable asset. There's basically an infinite supply of money in the world. The money, it's a fiat type of currency, and it's created and reproduced without even being printed. Most of the money is just tied up in computer screens with digits on the screen, and it can come and go and so on and so forth. But time, on the other hand, and now science has been able to push back your expiration date. They're able to kind of push out how long it is that you have on this planet, that you have in this life. But ultimately, there's going to be, they haven't solved the problem of that expiration date yet. You're still stuck with a limited amount of time. So when you start to realize that your time is infinitely more valuable than anything else, that's where you can kind of start to reposition things and understand that you need to value your time going forward. So when you think about what you're going to be doing today, when you go into your office and making sure that you're staying focused on going towards your goals. Let's say if you didn't do any planning, you just go into your office, you know, it's 9:30, it's 9 o'clock, it's 8 a.m., it's 7 a.m., it's 11 a.m., whatever it is that you head into your office for the day. Maybe you don't head into the office, maybe you work from home, but maybe it's when you finally sit down in front of your computer, or you finally pick up the phone and start making phone calls, or whatever it is that you're doing to be in work mode. when you go there, and now we'll use the office example. Let's say that you're heading into the office there, and you don't really have an idea of what it is that you're going to do today. You really don't know what to do today. You're like, oh man, I don't have any appointments scheduled today. I should probably get some appointments. Yeah, maybe I'll work on that, so I'll think about that. But then you get into office, and your coworkers and friends are in there. Oh, hey John, what's going on? What's up? How's your weekend? What do you got planned for this weekend? Did you watch that football game? Did you watch that baseball game? Did you see that hockey game? Did you see what is new in this politics? Or did you hear what this politician said? Or that this politician said? And I can't believe this. And all this stuff that does not contribute to your real estate business. That's the key thing that you need to focus on, is eliminating so much of these extracurricular things when you're at work, when you're trying to get work done, when you're trying to work toward achieving your ultimate major purpose. You need to eliminate everything it is that you can that does not contribute towards that. Now, I'm all for having the best life that you can. And the whole saying, all work and no play, especially if you don't like your work, it still needs to get done. So making sure that you're focused when you're at work or when you're there to do work, wherever it is that you call work, when you're there to try to accomplish something, that you're laser focused on accomplishing that thing, that you're laser focused on that. So I go into the office and they're like, oh, John, how was your weekend? It was good. I got some work to do. And move on, and that's the end of the story. Because I don't want to get distracted by thinking about the weekend, or thinking about what's for lunch, or thinking about all of these things that aren't contributing to my major goals. And that goes back to knowing what those goals are. You need to know what your ultimate major purpose, what your goal is that you want to serve, in order to know that you're going to reach it. Otherwise, when people are thinking, hey, you want to go out with us for lunch? And you're thinking, oh, yeah, I do want to go out for lunch. And now you're sitting there, and all you can think about is what do you want to order for lunch, or what restaurant it is that you want to try to convince them to go to, or how it is you're going to convince them to go to that particular restaurant or whatever. I mean, yeah, you need to go to lunch, but there's a time and place for that. It's not there all day while you're trying to get work done or trying to get things accomplished. And I know this is hard to try to eliminate some of these exterior influences when you're trying to get things accomplished, but it's so crucial to staying focused and staying motivated on achieving your goals. Now this does get a little bit tricky, because there's so many influences, these exterior influences. It's not just your coworkers and your friends. And they have benign interests. They're just trying to maybe cheer you up. Maybe they see you walking in with a frown on your face, and they're just trying to talk to you to turn that frown upside down, and that's perfectly fine. They're just trying to be a nice person. But if you think about that, they're trying to do something. Everybody is trying to do something. Now, they may not care whether or not they cheer you up. Maybe they do want to cheer you up, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But there's people that have goals, not just people, but also organizations that have goals that they want to make you part of achieving their goals. So you need to know what your plan is, so you don't become part of somebody else's plan. Now you can be involved in other people's plans as long as it's pushing you forward towards achieving your plan. So you need to make yourself part of your plan, not make yourself part of their plan, whoever they may be, whether that's your friends, your coworkers, companies trying to sell you advertising, whatever that may be, especially when you first get your real estate license. Not to pick on the companies like Zillow and Trulia and these other websites that are out there that try to sell advertising to new agents. It's a great platform. A lot of people have a lot of success with it. But I'm a big proponent of, you need to go into this not being sold on it because it's part of their plan. You need to go into the saying, hey, I need to look for a way to do advertising. Maybe I should go reach out to Zillow or Trulia or one of these websites and do some advertising, rather than picking up them cold calling you and saying, hey, how would you like to have X amount of leads per month? And yeah, it sounds like a great thing, but if this isn't coming organically from you, you're working as part of their plan. You're a servant in their plan, which you don't want to do. If your plan involves using their advertising, that's perfectly okay, but you want to make sure that you're trying to serve your goals and purposes. And that could be to benefit other people as well. I'm all about ethics and honesty, and if you want to make $100,000 in real estate, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly ethical to have a goal with something like that. Because in order to achieve that amount, you have to be trading a service with your clients. And you have to be providing a good service with your clients because, number one, if you're not providing a good, honest, ethical service to your clients, then your clients are going to leave you. And maybe you do get the sale done without being ethical and honest, but those clients are going to come back to you. So you might make a little bit of money, but you're not going to hit your ultimate major goals that you're trying to achieve, and you're not going to get the return referral business that you're going to be looking for. So it all boils down to making sure that you're working towards your plan. So rather than getting distracted in the day, rather than getting distracted by all the things going on in the world and all of the minutia, for lack of a better term, that could be occurring and try to affect you and influence what you're trying to do, in order to stay focused and have an action plan for the day. Because it's not enough just to figure out what your goals are. I know we just started 2017, and I'm sure a lot of you guys came up with some New Year's resolutions and some New Year's goals and so on and so forth. I hope you're still committed to those goals. I hope you're still working towards them. If you fell off the boat a little bit, I hope you got back up on the horse and you're still working towards them. But the key thing is it's not just one time a year that you want to write down these goals. You want to be writing down your goals every single day, multiple times a day. Yes, every single day, multiple times a day. You want to write down your goals, your aspirations, your ultimate major purposes that you're trying to achieve. And the purpose of this is to stay focused on them. When you write these down every single day, that's going to keep them top of mind. That's going to keep them right up here. So when you get a call from Zillow or Truly or some advertising company saying, hey, do you want to buy some leads or whatever that may be, you could think, does this fit into my plan? And if it doesn't, then you can say, oh, sorry, this doesn't fit into my strategy. They have all kinds of ways they'll overcome your objections and try to talk you into purchasing this. At least if they're a good salesperson, they will. But ultimately, if it doesn't fit your plan, it doesn't fit your plan. And if you have a very clear definition of what your plan and what your strategy is, that's going to make it difficult for them to try to convince you otherwise. So you want to write down your goals every single day and revisit those goals every single day. It's not enough just to print it out and have it on your desk, print it out so you can look at it. It's not enough just to look at it. You want to write those goals every single day because writing it is going to help commit it to your memory. It's going to help keep it up here. When there's things I want to remember, I take notes on them. I probably don't ever look at those notes again, but I take the notes because it helps commit it to my memory, and I can remember something 100 times better by writing it down compared to just somebody telling me something and just trying to commit it to memory. So write those goals down every single day to help keep them fresh in your head. Absolute must that you must write the goals down. So first you want to write the goals down so you understand that this is what you're trying to achieve. But now you need to break this down into what it is that you could do today, what it is that you could do that's going to push you towards achieving those goals. And when we come back after this next break, we'll talk about how to do something just like that. I'm John Chrismo, and you're watching State of Real Estate.
Is your real estate license expiring soon? In the state of Florida, all real estate licenses expire on either March 31st or September 30th. If this is your first license renewal, you must complete the Florida Real Estate Commission required post-licensing course. This course must be completed by the expiration date on your license. There is no grace period, and failure to complete this education requirement will result in your real estate license becoming null and void. And if your license becomes null and void, it cannot be renewed, and you must re-qualify for licensure all over again. Now, the good news is this course can actually help jumpstart your real estate business. You'll learn about many useful real-world topics such as listing presentations, effective farming, converting for sale by owners to listings, social media, and much more. We're so confident we have the most comprehensive post-licensing course in Florida. We back all of our students with our exclusive 1-year retake guarantee. Our class sizes are limited and tend to fill up quickly, so reserve your seat today with a $49 deposit that will apply towards your course tuition. Registration is easy and just takes a few minutes on our website, tampaschoolofrealestate.com. You can also stop by our administration building or give us a call at 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have about renewing your Florida real estate license and accelerating your real estate business.
Hey, if you liked the show today, be sure to hit like and subscribe and post your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, welcome back to State of Real Estate. We had a couple comments coming in saying that there was a delay in the audio or some echo thing going on. So hopefully that's fixed now and you could hear me crystal clear. So before we went on the break, we were talking, our first segment, we were talking about how you need to have an ultimate major purpose. The second segment, we were talking about how to not get distracted, how you need to have your own plan so you don't fall victim to being part of somebody else's plan. And now we're going to talk about some of the specific things you could do every single day that's going to help achieve your goal. So number one, you write down your goals. Every day, at least twice a day. Write them down in the morning and write them down at night before you go to bed. Maybe write them down in the afternoon as well. Try to fit those in there a couple of times so you keep those things top of mind. Because when you keep them in your head, your mind is a fantastic piece of equipment. It'll just work on its own in its subconscious, trying to come up with solutions to the problems that it is that you're having. So if you keep the goals top of mind, your mind is going to work on trying to figure out the solutions to your goals. So you want to write down your goals. And now for the rest of this, you're probably going to want to invest in some sort of planner or some sort of agenda. Go online and print out something that's got a daily breakdown of hourly or kind of chunking out the day of what task it is that you want to do. Now, you don't necessarily have to break it out by time like this, but especially when you're in real estate and you have appointments, this is going to help you focus on when you have free time, when you have that empty space, that white space on your calendar. Because that white space on your calendar can be very dangerous. This is the time where you get a notification on your phone and it's so-and-so that you follow shared something on there, and you're going to go through it and check through it, and then one thing leads to another. You're scrolling through Facebook and you're being distracted from achieving your goals. And that happens. Or maybe I hate leaving my email open. I use my Mac, and in the mail app, if I leave it open, I get notifications like that every time I get an email in. And if I'm trying to respond to emails or I'm looking for an email and I'm waiting to get to something so I can respond to it quickly, then I'll leave it open. But if I leave it open after I'm not trying to get the emails, or even during that time, all of these emails will start rolling in. I'll get ding, 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 new email. And every time it says I got a new email, it pops right up with a little sidebar notification, and I look at it, I was like, oh, let me click this and check it out, and all of a sudden now I'm forgetting what it is that I was working on. So you want to try to avoid these distractions at all cost. So invest yourself in some sort of planner, some sort of daytime, or something you could use. If you want to just get a pad of paper and just write out on there the hours of the day, and that's just what you're going to use every morning before you go into the office. And emphasis there, I say before you go in. Now, I don't know if you have any sort of commute to your office or commute to wherever it is that you're going. Maybe your commute is from your bedroom to your living room, whatever that may be. But I would probably write down these goals still in the bedroom before you get to the living room, or at your kitchen table before you head into your office, or whatever that may be that you're doing. Because when you're writing down these goals and you're trying to figure out what task it is that you could do today that's going to work towards achieving those goals, that's going to allow you time during this commute or as you're transitioning to this new location where you're actually there to do the work. This is going to help your mind kind of prioritize and get things in line. So very important that you do this beforehand. Now, if you didn't do it beforehand, do it when you when you get there, so you have all this stuff all taken care of, but it'll be much more effective when you're doing this beforehand. So in this daytimer, you want to try to figure out by the hour what it is that you're doing. So, and I'm practicing what I preach. Every morning I go and fill out a type of planner where I'm filling in every single day for every single hour what it is that I want to achieve. Guess what's on there for 12 noon? State of Real Estate. I know it's on there, so I know that's time that I can't really budge around. That's time where I have to be here helping you guys out. And that's part of my ultimate major purpose. I'm trying to help as many people as I can, so it's part of serving my goals, and it's on my calendar here. Now, I want to go ahead and also fill out in here some additional things that'll work towards achieving my ultimate major purpose. So for you, if you're a new real estate agent, or maybe you're a seasoned real estate agent, and you're just looking for a way to be more productive, and you don't do anything like
on your real estate career, you'll remember the moment you decided to begin this journey. The moment when you finally decided it was time for change. The moment when you decided it was time to take charge. The moment that changed the direction of your life forever. Now is that moment.
Hey, I'm John Chrismo, and I'm here to tell you today about Ask the Instructor. This is every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm going to be live answering your questions, so tune in. You can get on Facebook, on facebook.com/Tampa School, youtube.com/Tampa School, or also on our Success Center, tampaschoolofrealestate.com/success. You'll find those links in the description for this video. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I'm John Chrismo, and I look forward to answering your questions after the show. Alrighty, and welcome back to State of Real Estate. So before we went on break, we were talking about having the day timer to plan out what it is that you're doing for the day. You want to invest in something like this, so you could basically break down every single day, okay, I'm going to do this at this time, I'm going to do this at this time, I'm going to do this in this time. And now I don't expect you, and no one probably expects you, except for your obligations like meetings and appointments and things like that, to get certain tasks done at certain times, but it does help you lay this out for the day. You know, before I did this, I used to actually just write out the task. I would take out a pad and I would say, okay, I need to do this, need to do this, need to do this, need to do this, need to do this. And as I would complete these tasks, I would kind of cross them off. And that works, and that's great. If that alone, if you're not doing any sort of planning for your day, will help accelerate your level of being able to meet your goals. But now when you could put timelines to these, if you could say, okay, in the morning, between 9 and 10, I want to work on this. I need to work on calling clients. Or maybe between 8 and 9, I want to go ahead and do a couple of courses. I want to watch a couple of videos. I want to read a couple of things that's going to help get me motivated for the day. You want to plan these things out because it'll basically block out your time. And when you're doing this, especially when you first start doing this, you might end up, it could go one of two ways. You're either going to put way too much stuff on here that you're not able to handle, or you're not going to put enough stuff on there. You really don't hit it right off the bat. It's either you have way too much tasks on the list, which is fine, and that's really the better of the two because you want to avoid the white space. You want to try to get as many of these tasks done and then carry over whatever you still need to do to the next day. Or ask yourself the question, is these tasks that I didn't get finished today, why did I not get them finished today? Was it because I didn't have enough time? Was it truly because I didn't have enough time? Or was it because this wasn't something that was going to contribute to my business? So things you could be doing that's going to help grow your business as a new real estate agent. You could be holding an open house. That could be something that you're doing. Now, typically, that'd be something you do on a weekend rather than a weekday, so that's not an everyday type of occurrence. But if you are doing an open house, you need to be doing some planning for that open house. So maybe you need to go out and do some advertising for the open house, or maybe you need to go out there. If you don't want to spend money on advertising, you're out knocking on doors saying, hey, I'm doing an open house this weekend. So you want to budget for time on that, on your day timer, that you're going to be out there from the hours of 9 to 11 knocking on doors. And then you want to also set yourself goals. Okay, well, I'm out knocking on these doors. I want to try to talk to at least 100 people. And if I don't talk to 100 people, I'm going to keep going with it until 12 noon. But if I do talk to the 100 people that I'm trying to talk to, then I could go ahead and move on to the next task on my list. So having this breakdown of every single day, I mean, this isn't new information. This is why these day timers exist, and these have existed for years. Not even just a couple of years, but before we even had computers, before we even had electricity, people would have they would take logs of, okay, I'm going to do this thing at this time and this thing at this time. And if you really take full advantage of this and really plan out your day, it's going to give you a guideline to keep you from getting distracted. Because that's what you're trying to avoid. You don't want to get distracted, because the distractions might give you a little bit of enjoyment while you're being distracted, but once that distraction goes away, it's like a drug, and it just keeps trying to pull you back into that distraction. Social media is a great example of that, and I know a lot of you guys are on there watching on Facebook and YouTube right now, but I mean, this is a good use of your time. Maybe you plan this out on your day time, and then I'm going to tune in to State of Real Estate at 12 noon so I can make sure that I could get some tips and tricks I could try to implement in my real estate business. And if that's what you're doing and you're planning for this, then that's fine. But don't let some sort of exterior influence dictate what it is that you're trying to ultimately achieve. Don't be a part of their plan, make them part of your plan. And you have to have clarity about what it is that you're trying to do and what purposes you're trying to achieve in order to ultimately achieve those goals. So make sure you're writing these things out, and by the hour you want to put on there, okay, do this at this time, do this at this time, do this at this time. And now you want to, while you're writing this down, this also gives you the opportunity, this is really the great part of this, and this even works even if you're just writing the task without putting any sort of timeline to them or any sort of time of day that you want to work on these. If you're doing that, it's going to basically allow you to ensure that you're staying focused on these tasks and on these items that you need to accomplish. And it also gives you the chance to ask yourself, okay, is rewriting my bio going to get me new customers? How many new customers am I going to get from rewriting this bio? You ask yourself these questions as you put these on paper. If you're just thinking about, okay, yeah, I need to rewrite my bio, it's going to be great, and once people see this bio, then they're going to be calling me nonstop off the hook and so on and so forth. But will it ultimately achieve that? Will it really do that? Will it really have that effect of skyrocketing your business? Updating your bio, yes, you do need to have a biography, but updating it, it's probably not going to be the make it or break it. Now, if you took your bio to a client and the client said, oh, this is terrible, you have grammatical errors in here, so on and so forth, and they're like, you know what, I just don't want to do business with somebody who can't even write, then that's a time to update your bio. If that has the potential of that happening, then that's something what you'd want to do. You maybe want to rewrite your bio. But, I mean, just get something down. I mean, the bio alone isn't something that makes somebody really want to choose you. Most people aren't even going to read it. It's really just something you have. So trying to tweak that or perfect that or maybe the key thing is you want to make sure you're spending your time wisely. And when you're writing these things down, you could ask yourself the question, is this going to help me get to my goal? Is this really going to move me forward towards achieving my goal? And the more you do this, the better you'll have it as an indicator of, okay, this thing is going to be something that's going to help push me forward. If I'm calling clients, if I'm doing cold calls to people, that's going to help me get some more leads, which is going to help me get some more appointments, which is going to help me get some contracts, which is going to help me get some closings, which will help get me my money. And that's what you want to do. You need to figure out what it is that's going to help you achieve that goal that you have. So you want to write down all of these things, and as you're writing them down, you say, okay, well, yeah, that is something I need to do, but that's I'm gonna scratch that off. And I'll do that a lot too. I'll start writing something, and I'll be like, oh, you know what, that's not the best use of my time. I'll worry about that later because that doesn't need to be done right now. That's not going to help get things done right now. Now, maybe you're putting down on here that you want to do some courses, which is great, that you want to do some education or training or something to help propel you forward. But when you're writing this down, you're like, okay, I want to do that advanced MLS training. Is there a need for this advanced MLS training, first of all? So the MLS, that's the property database where you put your properties in before, once it's listed, before it sells, to try to market the property to get sold. And it's a very powerful system, and it can be very confusing to somebody who's new to the MLS system. And you do learn it with time. But now, is mastering this system going to help you get clients? Is mastering this MLS system going to help you get clients? No, it's a tool for once you have clients. So be careful and make sure that you're focusing on ways to get clients until you have clients. And once you then have clients, make sure you're still working on some things to continue keeping your pipeline of clients full, and you're continuing to get people wanting to work with you. And then once you have that, that's when you want to focus on really kind of perfecting it is what you do. You could be the greatest real estate professional in the world, in the entire universe, but if you don't have any clients, it makes no difference. You can know everything about the MLS system, but if you don't have any clients, wasted time, wasted money, wasted effort. So you want to really focus on doing the things that are going to work on getting you clients, that are going to work on helping you serve your current clients. Maybe you have a whole roster of clients. We're going to talk a little bit higher level now. So maybe you're some time into this and you have a whole roster of clients, and now you're writing the things down here. And maybe one of the things you have to do is maybe you just took on 10 new listings in the last week, and these 10 new listings had to be input into the MLS. And putting in the MLS, it's a very comprehensive system. So this is going to take some time to get all of that information in there. So now at that point, you could look at this as like, man, I could spend, if I put these 10 listings in the MLS, that's going to take up 3 hours of my day right there. Now you could look at this and say, okay, well, if that's going to take up 3 hours of my day, maybe now it's time for me to hire an assistant who could take this. So it's very crucial that you're tracking this, not only writing it down, but also tracking how it is that you're spending your day. When you're going through your day and you need to move some stuff around, move it around on paper, because what you're going to love, and you're not going to appreciate this right there in the moment, but when you go back and you're flipping through the days of this daytime and you're looking through, okay, oh yeah, look at this, I remember doing this, and so on and so forth. When you're flipping through that, you'll be able to see how it is that you're spending your time. And then maybe it is time to bring on an assistant for these tasks. Because inputting the MLS system, it's a very crucial, essential task. If you only have one listing, you could handle it. But if you have 10, 20 listings, that's maybe where you need an assistant to keep track of these things for you. Or maybe you're spending a lot of times filling out contracts and preparing contracts. That could be another thing where maybe you have an assistant that comes in that gets these items ready for you. Maybe you're spending a lot of time printing out reports and comps and all the information that you need for an appointment rather than trying to get more appointments. So you need to focus on what it is that you do best. There's a saying, focus on what you do best and delegate the rest. So you need to focus on what you do best. And if what you do best is selling clients and helping clients and serving your clients, that's where you need an assistant to help you out in the process of serving those clients. Maybe you're great at serving your clients and helping your clients and speaking with clients, but you're not the most proficient on the computer. That's perfectly fine. Yes, computers are essential in the real estate industry that we have today, but if that's not your strong suit, don't sweat it. Don't spend all this time taking professor teaches classes and trying to find out how to do this in Excel and all these things. I mean, that's going to be wasted time. You want to focus your time on what it is that you do best. If you have a weakness, yes, you could spend some time trying to correct that and trying to build up some skills in that area, and that could sometimes work. There's a lot of skills that I have to this day that were not skills that I used to have. I mean, some of the things were essential, things that I needed to learn to do, but other ones, it was just because I couldn't afford to have any sort of assistant or anybody, and I was thinking small at the time. I was like, oh, it's just cheaper for me to do this. I mean, if you think about it with this, and kind of like building the empire, we keep escalating to higher and higher levels here, but now you're trying to build like some sort of real estate team or something along those lines. And you may be thinking, oh, what do I want a real estate team for if I got to pay other agents half of my commission? And, well, I just want to keep all of my commission. I could do all this work myself. Or what do I need to pay an assistant for because I could just do all this work myself? If you're thinking about this from a business perspective, 100% of $100,000 is pretty great. But you know what's better? 20% of $1 million. So you're taking a huge hit in the percentages here, but as a sole proprietor, as a single person trying to run a business, you're not going to be able to, you're going to hit that glass ceiling very quick. You're going to hit that point where you're not going to be able to go any higher than this because you're spending all of your time in the business and you're not working on the business. That's very crucial that you need to work on the business and not work in the business. So you're going to hit that glass ceiling. You're going to hit that threshold where you can't go any higher because it's only you and just you. But now you start bringing on some people that could help you, a company. If you think of the military word for company, it means a group of people. If you have a group of people working towards an ultimate major purpose, that's going to help you get to that now $1 million mark. And yeah, you might not be walking away with $1 million yourself, but if we're talking 20% of $1 million versus 100% of $100,000, which one would you take? You do some quick math, and you'll want to take the 20% of $1 million every day, because 20% of $1 million is $200,000. So yeah, you're not getting 100% of the money. You don't get to keep all the money and be greedy and hoard all of the money, but you're bringing in more money. And you're helping make other people's lives better as well. This is the reason why entrepreneurship exists and why it's so popular and why the real estate industry is popular and why this team concept has been something that people have been moving to, because you could share the wealth. And people have learned that they're able to reach much higher when they have others helping them up. If it's just you, no matter how high you could jump, you're not going to be able to reach the stars. But you get enough people that are helping propel you higher, and you could eventually get there. So it's very essential that you realize what it is that you're doing every single day and how it is that you could gear yourself towards more working on your business rather than working in the business. Yeah, it's essential to work in the business, but you need to be able to work on the business for your ultimate long-term success. It's a bridge that you're going to have to cross over eventually to where you're working now on the business rather than just working in the business. So be very keen to what it is that you're doing every day and how it is that you're spending your time. Because if you can stay laser focused, that's going to get you to your goal so much quicker. You can think of it, again, we'll use our driving analogy. So let's say you punched in the GPS for the grocery store. Staying focused is the equivalent to driving 70 miles per hour down the highway and getting to that grocery store without getting distracted at all. Whereas when you have little things that pop up, notifications that come in, marketing emails, all these things that are distracting you from achieving your goal and purpose, that's like you're taking a pit stop every 30 seconds or however long it is it would take you to get to the store. You're taking these pit stops and you're stopping, and maybe you want to stop and, oh, look at this. You see a picture on Facebook, and you're like, oh, that's a nice picture. That's the equivalent of stopping on your way to the grocery store to take in the sunset. So you're sitting there and you're watching. It's going to take you a lot longer to get to the grocery store now because you had to stop. Or maybe you stopped to go check out some sort of museum on the way to the grocery store. You wouldn't do this because your goal is to get to the grocery store. If you need to get to the grocery store to get food on the table for dinner, you're going to go to the grocery store. You might see there might be some distractions, but you're going to stay focused on getting to the grocery store. If everybody treated their business like they treat going to the grocery store, they would be a lot more successful. The key is you have to stay focused. Now, it is a lot harder than going to the grocery store or running a business. I mean, we're talking about now an 8+ hour marathon as opposed to maybe an hour-long trip to the grocery store, at the grocery store, and on the way back. So it's a lot more, and it's a lot more repetitive. You're doing it every single day, but the same rule applies. If you stay focused, you're going to get to what it is that you're trying to achieve a lot faster. So by planning out your day, writing your goals every single day, writing out what time it is that you want to do certain tasks, or at the very least just writing out the task it is that you want to achieve for today, what targets it is that you want to achieve. If you want to make so many phone calls, write that down. If you want to talk to so many people, write that down. If you want to knock on so many doors, write it down. All of these things that you want to do, write them down if you want to achieve them. That's the crucial key part, is writing it down. That alone, even all else holding standard, just writing it down will get you closer towards achieving those goals, because at least now you're cognizant of what it is that you need to do. And even if that alone, if you just, okay, I want to talk to 20 people today, and now when those notifications come in, or friends come over, or coworkers come over, and they're like, hey, do you want to go to lunch? And you look at your daytime, or you look at your notepad, whatever it is that you're writing this down on, and you see that you've only made one call today. You're like, oh, you know what? I've got some calls to make. I'm not going to be able to go to lunch today. Again, if you're hard on yourself, life is going to be that much easier on you, because you sticking around during lunchtime and working on making these calls, or working on getting whatever task it is that you need done, that's going to make your life that much easier, because now when you go home at the end of the day, you're not stressing about what it is that you had to do, because you already got it done. I mean, so much of this with people taking their work home, and you know, I'm working all the time. I'm always on my phone checking emails and things like that, but it's nowhere near the level of focus I have when I'm actually committed at my office or in the environment, in the zone. I have a desk at my house where I'll sit when I need to do stuff on the weekend and things like that. And you need to focus when you're in that environment. You need to stay focused on achieving your goals, because when you stay focused on achieving these goals, you'll be able to be motivated to continue to actually work like this. But you know, when you're out and about, when you're at dinner, when you're at the movies, you could do that now with a clear head, because you're like, okay, yeah, I got everything it is. I was a rock star today at work, and I got everything it is that I needed done. So I could actually now enjoy this movie without worrying about, oh, well, is this client going to be mad at me because I didn't get this update put in right away, although they could wait till tomorrow, hopefully, if they don't notice it, and so on and so forth. You don't have these things that you're getting all this stuff done. It's going to make you look like a rock star to them, and it's going to make you look like a rock star to yourself, because you're getting these tasks accomplished. So very essential. By writing this stuff down every day, it helps you plan out your day. And when you're planning out your day, you're going to be able to achieve so much more success. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of State of Real Estate. Remember, every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time, we do the State of Real Estate show. This show is designed to help our students grow and mastermind their real estate business, to learn some tips and tricks that's going to help propel them further, because at the Tampa School of Real Estate, we're not just here for you getting your license. We're here for you every step of the way for your entire real estate career. We want to support you in every way it is that we can, including through this show, by helping you implement some of these little tips and tricks to grow your real estate business. So again, that's every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. And then on Wednesdays, we have our show Ask the Instructor. We get a little bit more technical. It's a great show if you're trying to prepare for your Florida real estate exam. That's Wednesdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. And basically that show, we're going through all kinds of different technical types of aspects of the real estate industry, where we're figuring out property value, figuring out property taxes, figuring out prorations, all these different things. If you haven't watched this, if you're new to watching these shows, check out tampaschoolofrealestate.com/success. So that's tampaschoolofrealestate.com/success. That's our Success Center. We have all of these videos saved in there. You can also see them on our YouTube or on our Facebook page. If you go to our channel, make sure you hit like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate that, and it's going to help you stay up to date with all this information it is that we give out here. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I'm John Kurismo. This show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and that show is State of Real Estate. I'll see you guys next Friday. Be sure to visit tampaschoolofrealestate.com. Again, that's tampaschoolofrealestate.com, where you'll find all the information you need to start your career in real estate. Also, be sure to check out our Success Center, where you'll find helpful tips for building a successful real estate career. Hey, if you liked the show today, be sure to hit like and subscribe and post your comments. Thanks so much for watching.